Guys, today I wanted to show you how to clean the throttle body and the idle sensor, the throttle body idle sensor on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. So mine's been idling kind of funny. It's been kind of rough and it kind of shakes a little bit, so before I replace anything else I thought I'd just get this cleaned out. So first off, you're gonna have this cover on top of your filter here, and there's going to be these 4 clamps on the sides that you need to unlatch, and then you'll have to undo this clamp here, and then you pretty much just lift this out. This is just going to be sitting there, so you pretty much just disconnect it there and lift that out. After that's done, you're going to have this on top of the engine right here. This is being held down by this clamp in the back and 2 10mm bolts on either side. So there's one hole, it matches right there. If you can still see, it's kind of dark. And then there's another one on the other side. And again, those are 10mm bolts. You take that out, and then you're going to need a Torx 25-bit to take out these screws. These long ones here correspond over to this little sensor that pretty much just monitors where the throttle is. Take that out right here. There's 2 bolts, 2 Torx 25s, and then you'll need to take out the other sensor here, which, if you can tell there, it is pretty dirty, so hopefully this will fix my problem. And this is the one that we want to clean out, as well as the whole throttle body here. And to do that, after you take out all those bolts here, these 4 bolts, you need to get some of this and just pretty much spray it on there. Maybe get some paper towels and clean off everything a little bit, or a toothbrush and brush that little sensor so it's nice and shiny again. And then just put everything back together. That sensor or valve, now that it's clean, pretty much you just spray it and wipe it down with the paper towel. Just make sure it's nice and shiny again. And then the throttle body here, you do the same thing with that. You just spray it. And then just wipe it down. Before you put the sensor back in, get your can and spray this bottom hole out completely so it's clean in there as well, because if you can see in there, there's a bunch of garbage that needs to be cleaned out. I also want to pull this and spray some right here so that that's clean as well, because that seems to be pretty dirty as well. You want to put this valve or sensor, whatever you guys want to call it, back in first. Plug it in. And get the 2 short Torx 25s and this back. You should be able to tell where the metal bar used to be. So on this one, I can tell by the rust. One side was down here and the other side was up at the top. So just make sure you line it up with this bar here. goes in at an angle, and then just push it in and slide it back to where it should be, and then just put the two T25 screws back in place. Right, now that the two sensors are back in place, dry off as much of the liquid as you can. It's not bad for the engine, but it might make it sputter a little bit. And then put this back on. So line that up in the back there. And then just make sure these two line up on the sides. The 10mm bolts. And then just tighten that with a flathead screwdriver and put the two bolts back in place on the sides. After you've done that, you just line this one up here and slide that back in place. And then just put this back in place and snap all of these clamps. So put all these clamps back, tighten this one bolt, and you're pretty much done. And then I just need to drive it and test it out, and I'll let you guys know if that fixed my problem.